name is Sue Calvary, and I am here today to talk to you about putting together a professional resume. I am the owner of Corporate Talent Resources. We are a professional recruiting company. We have been in business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for 14 and a half years, and I have been doing recruiting for over 20 years. I do have a bachelor's degree in human resources from the University of North Texas. So I do feel with all that experience and education that I am qualified to talk to you about putting together the perfect resume. Now, when I did start into recruiting a long time ago, a resume was the only way for you to get a job. There were very few job boards. LinkedIn did not exist. There were no smartphones to access information. So really take advantage of the tools that you have at your disposal today, and consider yourselves very fortunate. So I'm going to give you some recommendations on putting together a perfect resume and subsequently your LinkedIn profile, because your LinkedIn profile is your resume essentially, especially as a recent or current college graduate. So the purpose of a resume is to get an interview. It's not to tell your life story. It is simply to compel someone, a hiring manager or a recruiter, that they need to learn more about you. So the resume needs to be concise and clear and to the point and compelling. So a few basic things about a resume that I want to tell you first is font. So there are really three acceptable fonts on a resume. That would be either Tahoma, Verdana, or Arial. So stick to those three fonts, and they'll be easy to read, and you won't have any problem. No one will have a problem reading what you're writing. Your name could be 22 to 24 size font, and the rest of the resume needs to be 11 or 12 size. So I wouldn't go under 11 point, and I wouldn't go above 12 point. The margins need to be about 1 inch on each side and no less than a half an inch on the top. I'll tell you, I've looked at a lot of resumes, and when I get one where the information is off the page and I can't print it, it's frustrating, and I'm here to tell you that recruiters and hiring managers do not have time to mess with reformatting your resume. So normally those will go in the trash. Also, when you're typing a resume, make sure that there are no typos. Use spell check, but also read through your resume to make sure your grammar and punctuation is correct. I will tell you, and I know I'm not the only one, if there is a misspelled word on your resume, it will go in the trash. There is no excuse to have a one piece of paper that basically is going to get you into the work world that has a misspelled word on it. Just should not happen. So make sure you are doing spell check and that there are no misspelled words or grammar or punctuation errors. So after your name, obviously you'd have your address and phone number and email address. Make sure that your email address is a professional one. My recommendation is that you would put together an email address on Gmail or Yahoo specific to your job search for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can make that email address professional, like your name with some numbers at gmail.com. The second reason is you can organize your job search to one email box. So, you won't get all the junk and won't have your friends sending stuff. This will be your job email address, and you can just have it as that. I highly recommend that. I think it's a good idea. The other thing is your phone number. So whatever phone number you put on your resume, you need to have a professional voicemail message on that voicemail. I can't tell you the number of times I have called voicemails and I am getting a message that, hey, I'm out at the bars tonight. I hope you're having fun tonight too. Check you later. Leave me a message. I'll call you back sometime. I don't want to hear that. It makes a statement, and you are looking for a job. You know your resumes are out there, and that phone number is on that resume. So make sure that voicemail is professional. So the next thing that I want to talk about would be your your professional summary. So your professional summary, most of you all are will be fresh out of college, so it doesn't need to be long, 2 or 3 sentences at the most. It should include what you are looking to do and what value you can bring to that role with the experience that you have. And I will tell you, the top middle part of a resume is where anyone's eyes are going to go first. So when you see your professional resume, you're going to see that it's in that top middle part of your resume. And I'm here to tell you that is where we will look first. Any hiring manager, any recruiter, anybody, that's just naturally where their eyes go. So you need to make that area compelling and want me to scroll down and read more. I want to know more about you. And if that does not grab my attention, then I'm not going to go down and look and see what all the other stuff you have just because it didn't excite me. So make sure that professional summary is good, short, to the point, no fluff. Next would be your education. So you want to put your degree. If you have not graduated yet, you'll want to put anticipated graduation date, May 2015, whatever date that will be. If you have graduated, you would put your completion date with your bachelor's of whatever degree. GPA. If your GPA is above a 3.0, then you will want to include it on your resume. So if your overall GPA is 3.0 or above, you'll want to put overall GPA 3.67, whatever it is. If your overall GPA is not above a 3.0, you want to look at your major GPA, the classes that got you your major. If that major GPA is above a 3.0, you'll want to put major GPA 3.42. That way, that would be if your overall GPA is below a 3.0, your major GPA is above a 3.0, put your major GPA on there. Do not put your overall GPA. If your GPA, both of those, if they are both under 3.0, leave it off. Yes, you will probably be asked for it in an interview, but you can at least get in that far and hopefully put your best foot forward, and by the time they ask you that GPA, they've already fallen in love with you and it won't mean as much. So that's your GPA. Now, coursework does not need to be included on your resume unless and only if you need more room, you need more information to make it a full one-page resume. If you don't have enough information to fill up that resume, then put some coursework. Obviously, it would be your major courses that apply to the positions that you're applying for. It won't be math, but it would be whatever is your GPA or whatever is your major courses. You can list some of those on there, only if you need that extra room. Next would be your experience specific to any internships or jobs that you've held in school while you've been in school. Now, one thing that I do believe in is that you need to use the STAR format on your resume. And this is where you would use that. The STAR format is basically situation, task, action, and results. And you will use that STAR method when you're writing this section. So Your resume is a quick summary of who you are and what you've done. It identifies your strengths and key accomplishments, which in turn will help you um, communicate your value confidently to the company that you're trying to go to work for. It isn't enough to say that you're a leader or an effective communicator or a team player if you can't show it. So the STAR format helps you write a resume that shows your results. So, one of the most effective ways for you to communicate your accomplishments um, is by using a brief narrative structure that includes a targeted beginning, a short explanation middle, and a strong ending that illustrates clearly what you can do for the employer. So the STAR again is situation, task, action, and results. So situation would be define the general content: who, what, when, what, mention the problem that you had to overcome. The task would be identify the key objectives and issues that you have addressed in that job. So these are going to be under specific jobs where you're going to list out your accomplishments that you have. And they may not seem like a big deal to you, but what we're trying to show is that you do have successes, and we're going to show them what the results of those were. So after you have the task, then you have the action. So describe the action you took or initiated, emphasizing the skills used to complete that task. And then the most important is the results. So summarize the outcome in business terms. So remember, very important to include your results. A lot of people can talk about what they've done in an organization or for a company or in a leadership group in school, but they can't say what the outcome was. And the results need to be quantifiable, preferably. So, increased, say you were in a organization at your school and you were the membership chairman. Well, how, did you increase membership while you were the membership chairman? If you did, then you need to talk about the things that you did to increase membership. And then I increased membership by 20 members over the course of the year that I was in that role. So you need to include the results. Very important. More and more hiring managers and recruiters are looking for those results. And if they don't hear them, they're assuming that you didn't have a good result. So that's why it needs to be on there. You can Google STAR format, STAR, and it can help you really put together a strong resume. It's a great tool. After you put your experience, I think you need to put some leadership activities, and that would be your sorority or fraternity, or if you're in certain groups within the school that you're in, any of that, and any leadership roles that you have had, you will want to include that. So that is that. References, I do not recommend putting references on your resume. You don't have room for it. So leave those off. If you get to the point where you need to give references, they'll let you know and they'll ask for them then. So have your references ready, and make sure you've contacted your references and let them know, or ask them, hey, I'm going to put you as a reference. Would that be okay? Some references that are great to have are professors that have been, the professors that you've had for class. They are great references. Family members, anybody that you've worked for. If you're in a organization and they have a mentor or a adult lead, those people are great references. So make sure you've talked to them, you've gotten their permission to use them as a reference, you have their correct contact info, i.e. email address and or phone number for them to be contacted, and make sure that you let them know when they might be contacted about a job. And typically people will say, we're going to check some references. At that point, you need to give your people a heads up and let them know, hey, you might get a call for a reference. So, but leave those off your resume. gives you plenty of room to put all the good stuff that's going to get you the interview, and you can have those readily available. So that is how your resume should look. Now, I would like to spend just a minute on your LinkedIn profile. So basically, you can take your resume at this, with this experience, being right out of school or soon to be out of school, and you can basically put your resume out on LinkedIn, and that will be just fine. Now, you must put a professional picture. Please put a professional picture. You don't have to go pay for a big headshot or professional headshot, but have a picture with a normal background, wearing nice clothes. The best LinkedIn pictures that I see, frankly, are a guy in a suit, or a lady just with a nice top on. But make sure it's a nice picture. It's comprised mostly of your face. The further out you go and the more body that you include in the picture, the harder it is for someone to be able to see you. And regardless of what we all think, people are going to look at the picture. And if you don't have a picture, I think people tend to look past your profile. So I would highly recommend putting a picture out there. On your LinkedIn profile also, I would connect with anyone you know, and including professors. A lot of professors have other jobs, so their LinkedIn network could be very utilized for job search. So I would connect with professors, peers, other students. So get out there and connect, and I hope you guys put together a great resume, and good luck in your job search. Thanks so much.